This is a platform. Essentially, this is a platform which will allow you to monitor the progress of your efforts to reduce, global warming. So let's say we are talking about waste management in Kathmandu city. There is a process which needs to be followed in order for you to get the project approved by United Nations FCCC approved registry. Once that, to get that done, there is a very lengthy, tedious process, a lot of documentation, a lot of audit, verification, checking whether what we are talking about in paper is actually happening on the ground. So this process is monitored in our green carbon wallet. It tells you how much of credits have been, accumulated by you, at what is the international market price, and at what price you can trade in a particular credit. So whether it is plastic credits for waste management or organic waste or agri-based projects, somebody mentioned biochar. Biochar is something which is very good for carbon credits, or we are talking about water credits. Many opportunities are there by which we can ensure that not only are we reducing the effect of climate change, we can also monetize or benefit from it monetarily by the efforts that are put in. Before that, the other platform that we will be touching upon is called Net0Trace. Now, this is basically a platform which covers environment, social governance, ESG as it's popularly known. Most organizations, corporates, micro to small companies need to go in for an ESG kind of program to reduce their environmental emissions, their GSG emissions. So we'll talk about it as we get along. We also mentioned Nepal has a poor AQI, right? Air Quality Index. So AIROI has developed a platform which is AI-based, which predictively tells you what is going to be the PM 2.5, PM 10 in the next 1 day, in the next 1 week, in the next 1 month. We have successfully run a project in Bombay Municipal Corporation. It's been going on for the past 1 year now. It was a pilot test across 10 different locations in Bombay, which has been very successful. So there are basically monitors or units which are kept, which suck in the polluted air. It removes the dust particles like PM 2.5, PM 10, which are harmful to us. And it throws out fresh air in a radius of around 50 meters around the unit. So we have done this in some very highly congested areas like Mira Bainder Junction in BKC, Bandra Kurla Complex, which is a corporate setting. A lot of vehicles, a lot of traffic, a lot of dust and pollution. And BMC is extremely happy with the results so far. We are also able to predictively tell people what is the dust pollution, environmental pollution, the temperature, whether it's going to rain, etc., through the sensors that are there. And this is something which we could explore putting up in Kathmandu also, because Kathmandu, what we've experienced, has a lot of dust. These are the various projects that AIROI works on with regard to climate change. These are all carbon credit or water credit based projects. So within the ambit of credits, you have carbon credits which would come under agriculture, which would come under reduction of energy. May not be applicable to Nepal because Nepal is a hydropower, renewable power source. But we have in agriculture, you can look at bamboo, which is one of the best ways to reduce your carbon emission. Somebody mentioned banana, and from the banana, you are making products like bags. Many countries, like in Vietnam, they use the waste from pineapple to make yarn, fabric, clothes that are worn. I have had the benefit of touching cloth made from, you won't believe it, from plastic waste. So the bottles which we throw out, fortunately, here we are using glass bottles. So being a sustainable conference, we're talking about sustainability practically. So the plastic bottles which we throw and the caps which we throw, the milk packets which are thrown, the plastic bags which are thrown, so that can also be recycled and used to make cloth. And believe me, there's no difference in the texture between that cloth and what we are currently wearing. According to the people who make it, it is better than what we wear because it has got more pores. So the flow of air inside and out is much more than a cotton-based cloth. So it keeps your body cooler. Smart cities with regard to building management solutions, air quality monitoring, e-vehicles. So we are working with Chowdhury Group, Chowdhury Motors to be exact, where we are monitoring the power consumption of charging stations, electric charging stations. We are monitoring the movement, kilometers covered by electric vehicles, converting that into carbon credits. As per the discussion we had yesterday, there is a lot of benefit with this activity in terms of employment generation. The company is also considering a proposal to use a percentage of the revenue generated from the sale of the carbon credit to put it back into the community. So they may look at education of the lower income people or some other way by which the lower income people can benefit from this activity. We also have Nabel Bank where we are working with them on carbon credits for hydro-based projects. One is in Sar Surja, the other is in Dodi Koli. Right? Pardon my pronunciation if it's wrong. So Nepal is a very special place for us. We have a tie-up with Kali CC for plastic waste management. And I'm very happy to find you two here so that we can explore more opportunities for waste management. To be honest with you, I come from a city in India which is very popular globally, Bangalore. And I find Nepal, Kathmandu to be absolutely clean. I've been talking to Ujjwal and whoever I've met, Amrit, that the city is really neat and clean. And we are amazed to see no plastic thrown on the roads, no litter. While we talk to you, you say, oh, you find it clean. We are finding it dirty. But honestly, we find this place absolutely clean. So this is the run-up on the Green Carbon Wallet. So we initiate the carbon credit projects. Now, projects which come under the carbon credit program, they can take anywhere from 8 months to 14 months to get the entire project approved. The reason being that we follow certain systems. The international registries want their different systems. So we have to align our systems to suit what the registry is looking for. So there is a data collection that becomes a fairly time-consuming process. Then there are many registries globally. The popular ones are Vera, Gold Standard, which you guys may be aware of. We create the project document, which is given to the registry. The auditor comes down, they do a physical verification like any auditor will do, like a chartered accountant will audit your bank statement, your expense statement, and then determine the profitability of an organization. Similarly, they do a very, very thorough audit and they give certain feedbacks which allow us to improve upon the systems. So the process will take, as I said, anywhere from 6 to 14 months to get a particular project approved. The Net0Trace is talking about ESG, that is environment, social, governance. So we cover all the 3 scopes, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Depending upon the size of an organization, depending upon the nature of the organization, you will select what parameters or criteria within each scopes are applicable to you. You put in the data and the system, which is AI-driven and blockchain-driven, uses something called SBTI, which is science-based target initiative. It automatically tells the organization that based on its 3-year or 5-year or 10-year plan to go net zero, which scope and which subcategory in that scope you're doing a good job, where you need to improve. So that is how the system has been designed. The data collection is not a tedious process, but we will help you understand what data needs to be put into the system. It can be done through an API, it can be manually done, it can be scanned and done. All the options that are available are made open to the consumer. So you have a lot of companies globally which work in this space. You have companies which are working on carbon credit platforms. You have organizations which are working on ESG platforms. But by and large, we in the sense AIROI, is probably the only organization we are aware of which does an end-to-end hand-holding. So from the time we decide to work together, we sign off, we get into the picture and we train you on what is required. We prepare the documentation that is required for a carbon credit project. We train the staff, the HODs, the single point of contact in an organization on interacting with different departments. We conduct workshops for the organization to help them understand what is required. So we are today the only organization which not only develops a project, we also use the Green Carbon Wallet to help you monetize, to trade in that credit that you've accumulated over a period of time. So this is one of the benefits of working with AIROI. So I will stop here. And in the next session, we will get on to more details about the Green Carbon Wallet as well as the Net0Trace platform. Any questions so far? No?
I think we'll have more questions later on. So we have a couple of speakers online. So yeah, Vinod, you still here. So we're inviting Dr. Renuka and Badri.
Yeah.
So let's see how the sound works. Yes. Sometimes
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Renu, we can hear you loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Amrita, please go on with your introduction and then I will call upon Badri as well.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here. My name is Amrita Narayanan. I recently graduated from Edinburgh University with in climate change finance and investment. And I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about when I say that the space is constantly changing. So it's always a learning progress. I work with Badri at AIROI, and I'm helping him coming up with new ideas for the platform, how to improve it, and exploring different avenues where we can help customers create a better profile for their climate impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrita. Now over to Badri Nara.
Yeah, thank you all. Let me just turn on my camera. Hope everybody can see me. I'm Badrinath here, and you can call me Badri. I'm based out of San Francisco, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of AIROI. And very glad to see all of you, and so glad that Nepal is focused on sustainability and care for climate change. Also, there's a huge market that's getting evolved in Nepal. We'll talk some of those things as we go into more sessions. Thank you all. Over to you, Dr. Renuka.
Thank you, Mr. Binod. So, Dr. Renuka, it's over to you. So, can you give your brief introduction and what you are doing in UK and not in UK but globally? So, this can be a very value-adding things for us. Thank you, Dr. Renuka. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be with you all. And I must appreciate the enthusiasm and hard work of Ujjwal here. I think we met in COP28 in Dubai. And since then, from the day one, he has been so much supportive to GSFN. And I just can't appreciate, I don't have any words to say. He has mobilized several conversations, also laid on our GSFN annual conference, which was hosted by Nepal and led by him. So I'm very grateful. I'm also grateful to the team, including Sarita here, who have been always so cooperative. I would also like to mention here my special attachment with Nepal, because in 2022, there were 1,000 people who joined me, our GSFN, And they were so enthusiastic about forestry and management over there, like environment management. I was also called upon by the mayor of Darpaton and the minister of environment there to visit Nepal. But however, due to COVID, we had to extend our visits and so on for a long time. And then it was subsided with the just not getting on with other things. But however, I think I will be able to move things in Nepal with all these forces which has joined today here. I'm also very grateful to AIROI and the team, and especially Vasudevan, um, who has also been, like, since day one we have met, have been always supporting our programs, which are maybe not so directly related to their targets, but they have been always been with us. And I like the way they are approaching with several tools and techniques which are being helping people to understand what is carbon credit. The carbon word is really something that we all know, but the credit word is so attractive to people. And I think we need to make that credits understand properly and be a part of it. So I would like to also tell something about myself. Like, I lead education and global partnerships, and I founded Global Sustainable Future Network. And I've been pioneering this worldwide initiative that fosters multidisciplinary collaboration between researchers, policymakers, businesses, and communities worldwide. And I have a unique vision of co-creating global sustainable futures. And that is why I turned all my attention to strategic and sustainability advocacy, advancing these projects related to climate resilience, biodiversity conservation, or green skill development and social economic transformation, and so on, supporting several people around the world, especially our presence is in 175 countries. And being an academic, I always recognized there is a huge work to be done in climate action, gender equality, sustainable development strategies, which immediately needs collaboration of international organizations, governments, grassroots peoples, grassroots movements, to drive this real world solution. So having said that, I would like to show you my one video which explains vision and mission of GSFN. So let me share that with you. Despite very significant development gains globally, which has raised many millions of people out of absolute poverty, there is substantial evidence that inequality between the world's richest and poorest countries is widening. Today, the world has become more complex, and poorer countries have experienced significant economic and social development. However, the inequalities within countries have also been growing, and some commentators now talk of a global north and global south, referring respectively to richer and poorer communities which are found within and between countries. There are many causes of these inequalities, including the availability of natural resources, different levels of health and education, the nature of country's economy and its industrial sectors, international trading policies and access to markets, how countries are governed and international relationships between countries, conflict within and between countries, and a country's vulnerability to natural hazards and climate change. So, most importantly, researchers are called upon to address the barriers to climate science in the global south. These culturally diverse nations of global south are united by common threats to their sustainable futures. Challenges faced in creating collaborations, partnerships across national borders and academic disciplines. Through Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network, we want to play a leading role in creating an inclusive, collaborative, innovative, and engaging platform for early career researchers and like-targeted stakeholders, including startups and entrepreneurs, supported by experienced senior researchers and business leaders, where everyone can share in their research, innovation, visualization, and enthusiasm in parallel to network success. Our fundamental objective is to create a strong research environment, building to a multidisciplinary and multisectoral team of endogenous professionals that would be capable of pursuing and utilizing participatory and integrative approaches in solving public and environmental sustainability problems. Therefore, our priorities are empowering and capacity building, working with researchers to empower communities and individuals, increase independence and support to those who need it, give researchers and stakeholders the legacy of sustainable practices, fair and inclusive, improve economic and social and environmental equality, pursuing development which offers fair distribution and access to good quality life and working conditions. Networking and engagement provide an innovative and global-wide platform to make global sustainable futures progress through partnership network, an effective and well-connected network, transforming traditional society systems to more sustainable systems. And above all, it is sustainability. So, co-create sustainable and resilient development pathways to secure sustainable futures for all and everyone. So, the key focus is mobilization and engagement, building a community of practice, creating a strong leadership, and producing a critical mass of good practices. 800 coordinators from 105 countries have joined me. So I also call upon you
Yes, Dr. Renuka. So
Yes, I will still continue a little bit with my journey. Bear with me. I'm sharing another PowerPoint. Okay, so today we have these 8,000 coordinators in 175 countries, as I mentioned. But I really want to show some unique governance structure that we want to build, like we are building, and we want others also to follow within their own organizations. That is the aspiration that we have. But before going to that, I would like to say whoever joins GSFN becomes or gets a chairship, and that chairship is unique for each and every person. We ask for STG number which is 1 to 17. And then we have this domain, which is research or education, academic, research, education, enterprise, or community, and the level that you want to work at. That could be global, university level, or country level, or sectoral level, and so on. And we add these 3 words, which are very particular to your own expertise. Having that, you can become a chair of your own expertise. And at the end of the year, we give self-nomination form for people to fill out, to think that what they have done or contributed to society. And based on the face value, we give out bronze, silver, gold, and platinum award. And that increases the sustainability leadership around the world. We have so far given out 600 awards in last 5 years. Now here, what I mean that traditionally, what happens that in any organization, people work in authority type of leadership. That is a top-down leader, like higher management decides on things and then people follow. Whereas the other type of model is that consultancy or experts work in, which is like they individually have their own expertise, but they work in silos. They hardly communicate, hardly coordinate. And what we are providing is a platform where all these experts can come and collectively do activities contributing to one main goal, which is sustainable futures. And that is what we want, is collaborative mindset, shared knowledge, and be more positive about the complexities, understand complexities, and so on. And so what does this platform give you or provide you is a self-leadership. As I would say here, we have many leaders here. But also it is a coach-like engagement. You learn from me and I learn from you. That type of environment is created. And therefore we work in team, but then it is interdependent collaboration, because we are all interdependent on our, delivering our goal or ambitions. And that allows us to make a transformation innovation in the world. So transformative innovation in the world. So that is what we want to emphasize through GSFN. Having said that, I will just go for my Green Award programs. And I will share that. Now, you have already heard so many things from AIROI Vinod, who mentioned their ambitions of, green skills or green environment, and also carbon credit projects in various ways or various avenues, waste, water, agriculture, trees, and so on. And they are directly, related to our national determined contribution of each country. Each country has, due to the Paris Agreement, that each country has committed to contribute to lowering down the carbon emissions of their shares and get to a stage where we would be more comfortable with our carbon emissions. And that is why it is very important that each and every one, we are the part of the planet that we live in, and we are the part of these carbon emission activities. And so we need to understand that. So national actions are there. And however, what is missing, so I will just go quickly about this, that what is missing is especially here, which has been highlighted by Department of Economic and Social Affairs, that small and medium income small and medium enterprises are not achieving what they should have achieved, or their role in sustainable development goals is significant. However, they think that because they are contributing very little, their role is not so important. But they are very important because they form the 80% of the supply chain of the larger organization. Larger organizations cannot achieve their goals if SMEs are not part of that activity. So that is very important for everyone here to understand. And therefore, empowering local communities through environmental initiatives and collaborations is very, very important. And so what I have planned through Green Awards is that we can have Green Awards in every sector, every activity of SMEs. And this is not just out of the concept. I have worked with the Mayor of London Green Procurement Code, and I have seen the success rate of such project, and I bring the experience to into breakdowns of small activities, and that is what we want to emphasize around the world. So what will it do? It will help businesses to recognize excellence in operation, practices, their practices, human resources also, their compliance. It will increase their compliance, and it will increase their innovation within their context and reach. And of course, digital transformation would be the one. I think many programs has been provided you or explained you by AIROI that digital transformation or at every stage is required and will be helpful to the businesses. And we should definitely understand that this is a chance and this is the time we should be acting. And therefore, what I am proposing is, of course, I have written here 12 months, but it can be ongoing. It is a program. It is not a project. It is a capacity building program for SMEs where they can become a signatory, and they can evaluate their performance. And when they evaluate their first performance, they get a bronze award, and then they act on the action plan, and then they go on to improve their performance, and they get to the silver and gold award and so on. Now, I won't go in many details, but I have my web page which explains you many things about all these, and we have also developed some simple templates to how to monitor or how to evaluate and so on. How will it work is something like this, that GSFN will partner with several international partners, and then there will be country level leaders, and these leaders will again connect to several leaders in sector or region around the country, and they will connect to other sub leaders in various sectors and so on. So it will be a cascading model and train the trainer model type of things, where everyone will carry on the sustainable practices to one to the other level. And so it would work like this, that the country chair remains in center or connects with all other different country level team and signatories. So the team chair connects to the signatory, and they then sign for the awards. And it will provide, like, key evaluation areas are many, but I have written here few, and it could be like health and safety, environmental, facility management, material management, organizational culture, regulatory compliance and innovation, community engagement, local impact, global impact, and many more. So I have a list, but that can be still many more on this list. And then finally, you can have, commercial opportunities, but also competitive advantage with this program. And these are the levels. This evaluation of the performance is based on many other international standards, such as, environmental management, or, there is a very big scheme called EcoVadis, and EcoVadis has made it from the business perspective, and there is a high rate of fees and subscription there, whereas we want to make it easy for people, approachable and affordable. And that's why we have developed the scoring system as good as theirs, but allowing it to be a low cost. And that is why these all things can be looked and from the website. You can download as well. So I will not go into the details, but what we want to work here, this is important, that depending on the sector and the country, we want to come to an affordable price list for SMEs in certain sectors, say. And so it could be like as low as £10 or £30 per month or whatever. I don't say this is prescribed by me. It's just an ambition that we have to work with a sector in that context of the country to understand what is affordable by SME and then offer this service. So it should be tailored to the country and the sector specific. And that is how we want to go about it. So it needs a negotiation between the sector. It needs associations to come over and connect with us for the better performance of the country. What does all this do? That this all directly improves your performance and make it easier for people to connect to the bigger projects like carbon credit. And as Vinod has mentioned, that carbon credit is not easy job. It requires a lot of ground level work. And if you are not ready with the ground level excellence work, you will never get to that. And so this is a scheme, or you can say a program, that is helping to improve SMEs or anyone. It could be individual self, and it can provide lot of employment, lot of skill development into green skills. I will stop here, though it was very lengthy, but I thought it is important to present. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Renuka. So for all your background of GSFN and award, definitely like in this year we also try from our Nepal as well. So yeah, a lot of organizations, they are working in environment, enterprises, SMEs. So maybe like we can also recommend some of the organizations based in Nepal as per the criteria. So we'll discuss more on that, Dr. Renuka, about this process. And I also clarified my colleagues who are here, if they want to contact me individually as well, so I can guide you how to apply for the award. So we'll work on that. And thank you so much, Dr. Renuka, for your time. And please stay online. So we have another session. So invite.
Yeah. Thank you, Renuka ma'am. So, so as you move forward toward a sustainable future, one of the emerging mechanisms gaining global attention in carbon credit and carbon trading. While this is a concept in context of Nepal, carbon credit and carbon trading, it's like very new concept that we have not I don't think that we have practiced this concept a lot. I think we need a deeper understandings in terms of technical aspects of how like the carbon we can convert into the credit, and how we can do that credit things in a trading trading based in a business model approach. So for that, I want to welcome Mr. Badri from AIROI for his technical assistance and technical sessions on carbon credit and carbon trading. So, Mr. Binod, sorry, Mr. Badri.
Badri.
I'm so confused.
We can make the background out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badri, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here very much.
All right. So basically what we're going to be talking about now is something called a circular economy. The circular economy is something which we would love to develop for Nepal, where all the credits which are generated by different companies and industries within Nepal can be traded within. There's another very interesting thought which came about in the last few days that I've been here in Nepal talking to various people. Nepal gets a lot of international tourists, right? And we are all talking about sustainability, how Nepal has to reach a net zero country stage by 2035. The government has also come out with a detailed white paper on what is the government's approach towards becoming net zero. So one of the things that we are we are ideating or talking about now is that any foreign tourists coming into Nepal, obviously they come by flight. At least 90% of them come by flight. So we can calculate the carbon emission of that particular flight, and that individual can contribute towards that carbon emission that he is generating by taking a flight. And that money which is generated in Nepal can again be used for development. So you can use it for an afforestation project, you can use it for women empowerment, you can use it for education, elevating people's financial status and so on and so forth. So this would fall under the United Nations Social Development Goals. And what Badri will now talk about is the idea or the concept that we are working on with regard to circular economy. Badri?
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Vinod.
thank you, Vinod. And let me share my screen.
Share the screen.
No, you will share this.
No, you'll share the screen out there.
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for everybody, what is a circular economy? Simple, basic concept. Circular economy is all about how do we minimize the waste and resource depletion and see if we can reuse the materials as long as possible. How do we do that? By several means, right? You can reuse where possible. You can repair if something is broken instead of discarding them. You can refurbish some of the products and other things that instead of throwing it away. You can recycle it. Let's say, for example, plastic, right? You can always recycle. And you can always remanufacture based on the, recycled materials, right? The whole idea is to see how we can use this concept and then create what is known as a, circular economy. When we start minimizing the waste and then start using the reuse, remanufacture, recycle, what do we achieve? We have reduced resource extraction. Our energy efficiency will definitely go up because we are using natural or regenerative energy where possible, non-fossil, fossil based, and then the waste reduction and the diversion happens when you are trying to reuse, remanufacture, refurbish, right? And the product durability and longevity will improve wherever possible by doing all these things, right? These will result in lower emissions, and that's where will lead to what Vinod has described. One benefit is obviously the carbon credits, and then you will have more jobs or new jobs rather, because when you're talking about recycle, when you're talking about refurbish, or when you're talking about remanufacture, you need people who can do that. And then you're also talking about cost reductions, right? You're not manufacturing, you're not using every time new materials, raw materials for doing that. And a lot of innovations will also come in, right? How do you take electricity from, waste management, compost, and so on and so forth. So these are the inherent benefits of a circular economy. And we have a product or a platform called Green Carbon Wallet, which we'll talk about shortly. I will come to this particular slide in terms of what the features and how it's going to work. The whole idea about what is that we can bring to Nepal is all about how do we enable the entire carbon credit and also enable Nepal with the benefits of the carbon credit monetization. So before that, let's spend some time understand what is a carbon credit, right? Carbon credit markets are typically falls into many different types, right? You have emissions trading that's happening, which are typically done by the energy companies across the world, and they use emission trading systems. And you have domestic crediting mechanisms. These falls into compliance and voluntary, and then international crediting mechanism. So before even that, everybody must be asking, what's a carbon credit, right? So let's look at it, right? Carbon credit is nothing but the entire emissions that you are saving above certain limit, right? If you have a standard and you basically have that limit, and then whatever the reduced GHG emissions by taking steps, those are basically carbon credit projects. Or it could be result of several other green projects like wind energy, solar energy, and EV charging stations, and so on and so forth, right? These are the carbon credits that you undergo. There's a defined set of processes based on the methodologies that you undergo. That's what you basically, called as a carbon credit workflow. So here, the carbon credit, once you have the carbon credits, this entire markets, right? The compliance, voluntary trading systems, and you have other mechanisms of monetizing those carbon credits. That's the thing that we really bring to the table using our platform, and also we bring excellent networks internationally to sell the carbon credit. What we are also realizing is, from a carbon trading and carbon credits mechanism, like what Dr. Renika has said, and also Vinod touched upon, Nepal has got immense potential on some of the carbon credits which it can really monetize. The first one is the forest-based carbon credits. And the forest-based, anyway, Nepal is doing really well when it comes to involving the community. So the community forestry is definitely one of the big projects which has huge demand in the international markets. These are typically known as REDD, that is reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. The second one is the reforestation and afforestation, where we can extend that community forestry, where we can replant and also increase the afforestation wherever possible. The second type of projects which Nepal is also doing well is the renewable energy projects, which includes your hydropower, solar and wind energy, and biogas. Each of this will definitely result in carbon credits getting generated every year. And then the next one is the agriculture and land use, where we can introduce climate smart agriculture and also sustainable land management. And the last but not the least is the ecotourism, and also how you can do sustainable transportation, right? By using electric vehicles and improving public transports instead of using automobiles, right? So these are some of the opportunities which definitely a country like Nepal can, increase its own share of carbon credits and also really monetize. And these are the key factors. Nepal has already well documented, and also a strategy well defined by government to meet certain sustainable development goals, which are defined by UN. And the key success factors is how do we really create carbon offset projects, and also how do we reduce greenhouse gas emissions? How do we promote circular economy practices and reducing the waste wherever possible? How we can basically, work, enable the renewable energy projects and promote energy efficiency. And also how you can promote the collaborations across the entire community, government, businesses, SMEs, various other, players, right? That's where we come in with our services and also our platforms, where our platforms provide you excellent data-driven insights. You can monitor and verify all the data that you collect for a particular carbon project, increase the traceability, transparency. You can optimize the information on the project and also the project itself, and also measure and capture all the resource efficiency when it comes to promoting the circular economy aspects of it. How do you increase the or monitor the supply chain optimization part of it, and also how you measure the sustainable consumption itself. And the last aspect is how do we increase the liquidity of the carbon credits, right? One is getting the carbon credit itself, but how do we really increase the liquidity? Liquidity of the carbon credits can be done in 3-4 aspects. The main important thing is bring in the UNFCCC based registry and other standardization wherever possible, and also increase the transparency of the project, right? Transparency is all about having well documented and evidence based information, and also providing traceability on the data collection that is being done, and also having the verification and validation reports, and also visibility into all the other information. That's the key thing for any potential buyer who really looks to buy the carbon credits for offsetting or retiring. And then provide the market access and the price discovery. Now, market access is all about creating marketplaces. For example, we can establish a country level carbon trading platform for Nepal. And AIROI is becoming an exchange itself in the next 4 to 5 months. We are working on it. And what really happens is we bring potential buyers from the international market to our platform, and the price discovery can happen with buyers really competing for quality projects. And one of the key things that we're also doing is like your bond rating, like if you really look at your fixed income bond, where those are rated. And we are now introducing what is known as a carbon credit rating itself. We are partnering with one more US based and a company called B0 Carbon. And these are all things which really brings in not just standardization and transparency, it is significantly improves the quality of the carbon credits, thereby the probabilities of somebody buying these carbon credits at a very premium price will go up significantly. So this is what we were thinking in terms of establishing. So when you really look at a carbon credit market where you establish at the Nepal, what really happens is it brings in monetization for the by Nepal as a country, because the carbon credits are from Nepal, and when you get higher price, you enjoy the benefits of the quality of the carbon credit, and also it meets the Nepal's SDGs as well. And the data that comes out of this carbon credits market, and also the carbon credit insights that we provide, will be a great thing for policymakers and other frameworks that government and multilateral agencies work on. And also it brings the market transparency. There is no real two people talking and deciding the price. Everything is transparent, and also create additional revenue streams for the government and also for other quasi-government organizations, wherein the money generated can really help fund some of the other programs which are aligned to other SDGs. And also this will be a great input for the Nepal as a country's emission level tracking itself. So this is a basic, thought process. And as Vinod has explained, we bring technology to solve real life problems. We don't believe in just talking only the technology. That's why our company's name itself is AIROI. Technology is just one part, but what's the return on investment we bring for a specific scenario? That's the whole background with which we operate as a company. By operations, we are headquartered in US, but we have operations in India, and we have projects in many places, including Nepal, India, Middle East, Africa, United States, and also expanding into European markets now. Apart from this, we also do ESG and sustainability reporting. And given the kind of traction and also the kind of importance Nepal and the entire business and the organizations and government has, one of the things we are also thinking is to see how we can enable a center of excellence and also kind of a branch in Nepal. That way we can bring international practices and also adapt to the local needs and then create local talent as well within this space. This is our thought process. I will stop and then see if you have any questions.
Questions, anyone?
We have a question session.
We also have.
We can discuss.
Not right now, but
Okay. Then I'll take a simple glance of the carbon trading platform, right? The carbon. Let me log into the platform.
the actual platform. Oh, it works. Okay.
Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the 4 platforms that we bring to the table. One is the carbon credits, the green carbon wallet. The other one is the Net0Trace. And we have AQI insights and decarbonization in analytics and insights. And when you click on the carbon credits, that's when it goes to the green carbon wallet, and you will see the entire aspects of the functions and features of green carbon wallet. And if we just look at it, right, this is the list of carbon projects that we can support. There are many more. This is just a glimpse. It could be agro credit. It could be having credits from EV charging stations, like what Vinod talked about from a CG Motors perspective. It could be your solar captive, or it could be your plastic credit based on the plastic collection and recycling you're doing, or it could be cookstove rural projects that you are doing, or it could be your hydro projects where you are using hydro, energy generated from the hydro, or it could be your biochar carbon sequestration, or it could be your water conservation. All of these projects are supported, and we have a complete end-to-end support for creating a new project and then getting into capturing the whole information and then getting into gathering what's the methodology that we can apply, and then all the documents that is required for opening a project or creating a project is what is actually this particular screen allows you. And then when you really look at any project which is already created, every project goes through certain life cycle or the workflow. All of those things are actually supported. Like for example, if we click here, right, what really happens is it tells you what's the project, where is it done, what's the registry which we are currently working on for this particular project, what's the periodic assessment, what's the frequency, right? And frequency is monthly, and then data collection happens on the monthly, And then the carbon credit calculations happens on every month 10th. And then these are the stages, as you can see, right from project initiation, it goes to submission, then stakeholder consultation. Then we go through the third party validation, followed by a site audit. Then the verification happens. Finally, once everything is clear, the project goes to project in the, go to the registered category. Then the credits are issued. And then once the credits are issued, then you basically sell and retire it. All of these things are completely trackable in your, platform using our green carbon. And also we provide the baseline calculation. Every type of project follows certain carbon development methodology, and each methodology has certain baseline calculation that are well defined and documented. All of these things are also visible, and how these are applied to the data that we collect. And then we also support all other scenarios. Like in certain projects, you may have vendors working for you. We also support at the vendor level tracking of which vendor is doing what kind of EV charging activities. So all of these things are supported. Then we have what is known as a wallet. Typically, you might have heard this term wallet in financial services world, where people talk about money. But here, a wallet basically stores your certified and uncertified credits. Uncertified is when the data is collected, we as AIROI, when we apply the data, the methodology on the data and the baseline calculation and the calculation for arriving at the carbon credits, that's what you are seeing here. And then we know based on the international market value, what's the value a particular carbon credit carries. Based on that, right, we put the value and then show what's the projected value on the pending credit. Similarly, once the credit is actually certified by a registry, then it goes into certified credits, and those are tradable. We have a trading platform as well. And then we basically also work on the OTCs, that is over the counter, where we facilitate selling of carbon credits and monetizing it. That goes into pending sale settlement. So this is what we as a company bring in. Currently, as we speak, we are doing close to 15 plus project, and our total number of carbon credits that we monitor in a year is more than 1 million metric tons. I will stop and then take any questions or any clarifications or any additional information required.
Badri, I have a question just on behalf of maybe the audience.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
When we say carbon credit project, immediately we think of large organizations that it is only for them and not others. So how you translate maybe the audience and the small businesses or whoever are in, say, waste management and so on. So how will you translate this concept to them, and how they can be a part also? What will be the initial step for them to start thinking that, okay, they can be a part of this?
See, that's a great question, Dr. Renuka. Carbon credit is not only meant for larger organizations, these are meant for smaller organizations as well. And one route is, let's say, take an example of waste management, plastic waste management. If two companies, which are small companies, if there is a possibility of they coming together for a particular carbon credit project, then we can take them as one particular one carbon project called plastic recycling. But whoever is contributing to that in terms of what their metric ton collection that they are doing on a daily basis, that could be one way. We can explore all possible scenarios to facilitate participation from the smaller companies as well. And also we can bring in some of the advisory and consulting services to see what else they can do to really grow in terms of whatever the collections they are doing. Let's say, for example, currently a small organization is collecting maybe 1 or 2 metric tons of plastic credit, which may not become a financially viable option. We can come back and tell them what are the steps they can take. And also by generating some additional money through carbon credits, right? What we can also do is that money can fund some of their expansion plan as well, rather than going to bank or raising money. There are several ways where a company or a small company can grow and also really contribute in the process, meeting some of the sustainability development goals as well. Like, for example, there is a concept called additionality, which means, let's say, what are you doing really? Let's say if this money comes to you by selling the carbon credits, what is that you're contributing back to the, your employees? Are we doing anything, any trainings? Are you doing any upliftment? There are so many other aspects, or employee welfare. Are you doing any additional health programs for them? So many things that you can do with this additional money which the carbon credit can bring. And if you're able to demonstrate that you are deploying some of the money back to doing these kind of things, these additionalities will also fetch you more value from a monetization perspective, which means there is more money on the table available for everybody's benefit.
Thank you. Thank you. So if anyone else have a question, otherwise I can go with 1 or 2 more questions to simplify the concept for people.
Yep.
Okay. So I mean, okay, Sarita, do you have any questions from the floor?
Dr. Renuka, Mr. Ravindra has one question.
Please go on.
Sure, please, yeah.
Is the platform is free for sign up, or we should pay for sign up to use that?
Yeah. See, this is a platform that is like any other software platform. Again, it's just not the platform alone that is required. You require a lot more handholding in working with registries, in getting the projects registered, and also going through the interactions with verification and validation bodies, which are typically done by the third-party companies and auditors that are actually nominated by the registries. So it's a fair bit of involved work. Just to answer, yes, the platform itself can be used if you are very familiar with all the carbon credit projects and you just need the platform. We have a simple license model as well and very affordable license model as well for a country like Nepal.
I have one question, Badri. I have one
Yes.
question.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have a small entrepreneur, like I have one lady over here. So who is using this banana leaves to make different like handicrafts. So is like we have doing a lot of small companies that work on like natural resource management, something like that. So are they eligible to get the carbon credits like that, or into the carbon markets? Like I have one lady over here, so who is doing this banana, from banana, she's making different handicrafts. So is she eligible to get the carbon credit like that?
Shall I answer
Vinod can answer that, or we have one of our analysts can get into that details, and then based on the more information that we can collect, we are very happy to help with more information on how, after study, we can recommend actually what's the appropriate methodology that we can apply, which registry supports that kind of a carbon credit, and then we can obviously recommend or suggest what's the next or best step to move forward.
And she has got some good samples as well. From banana. Which banana? So
to answer the question?
yes, well, so we have to promote this kind of entrepreneur, like not only selling the product, but they can earn for the carbon credit as well. A little bit behind the technical things, so we can support this kind of women and other, like your company, like your organization, Clean Up Nepal. So you are collecting waste, and like we are collecting waste, but how can we monetize in a different way in terms of
Sure.
carbon?
So to answer
Okay, I have an answer for this. What we
Okay.
can do, because we know that SMEs cannot immediately get into this carbon credit project because of the small activities, right? Small in a sense of uh, any carbon credit project can be, executed once it has, say, for example, 1,000 ton of something plastic waste or something like that. So, and that is a huge quantity, and we cannot immediately get on that platform. What I would suggest that, of course, I have been working with some handicrafts organizations, very similar to what you said here in India, and we are forming an association for them.
Correct.
And
Correct.
if we can get, and there are already associations, and this association also have, say, for example, 200 handicraft SMEs,
Members.
and
Yeah.
that is also a short number. It is still, they are short of that quantity that we are requiring. And therefore, we can still more get into other things that at least we should have, say, 1,000 SMEs together as an association. And therefore, it has to be someone who can create this.
At
Either,
the country level or something like that. Right?
yes, at a country level, either someone as a consultant take this initiative to bring everyone together, and we can form an associations of associations, and that can definitely work to go to the carbon credit
Correct.
market just in 1.5 years. I would say at least 2 years we have to allow that, because we will need the negotiations of the governance that is implied in it, and also the best practices that we need to get to that level. We need to educate people with the digital tools, but also with the performance level that is required for each and every activity. Now, for handicrafts, we have to have, so it is a like, I have been preaching these 3 words since last 3 months. We need to have, trust, trace, and transparency. If we have these 3 words, trust is that we are able to provide each and every evidence, each and every truthful facts about what we are doing. Trace is we should be able to go, say, for example, what the lady has said, banana leaves. We should be able to trace the banana leaves to the roots of that banana farm and so on. So where the whole supply chain rests. And the transparency with the digital platform, we need to be able to show that publicly.
Correct.
And if we are able to do these 3 things within, say, 100, 200, 1,000 people, if it is, say, farmer, it is very easy. If we get a group of farmers with the total number of 1,000 hectares, we can immediately provide a route to carbon credit for them. And there again, we can have several carbon credit projects. For example, if they are in waste, we can have a biochar carbon credit project. We can improve that waste management with rain harvesting and other irrigation methods. Then we can have a water credit project. We can also have tree planting within the plants. Then we can have a tree planting project, and itself as a soil with the agriculture products and so on. We can have that too. And with the crops, we can create the market that can tell that it is a low carbon market products, and that can immediately sell or have a competitive advantage. And we can also create an agricultural or a farm carbon calculator for everyone to see how they are performing and go up. So there are various opportunities. It is just that you need to take a leadership. We are here to support you at every step. when Badri mentioned that we can hand holding is so much, but yes, we are happy to hand hold you. And it also may think that, you may think that, okay, we can't do it because it might cost you some money. But at some point, we have some few ready-made resources which can be immediately deployed to you. So this is what plenty of support is there, plenty of opportunities are there. It is up to you to grab that opportunity and become a leader.
And also, Renuka, I just want to add one more additional point. When there are smaller people are there in terms of SMEs in whatever sector, there are platforms that are coming up. For example, in India, there is a concept called FPO, Farm Producing Organization. Basically, farm producing organization is like a cooperative society. Let's say it may have 500 or 1,000 farmers. Some farmer may have 1 acre land, some farmer may have 4 acre land. Individually, they cannot go for carbon credits, but when they come under this FPO umbrella, that FPO company can apply for carbon credit. Then it becomes a financially viable project. And then internally, they know who is contributing to what in the data input. Accordingly, the carbon credit benefits can go to all the people. Similarly, in any sector, the handicraft or whatever that gentleman or that lady is talked about, right? If they can come together, then we can work like the way you are suggesting.
With the SMEs and the handicrafts, energy comes the first one. If
Yep.
all the handicrafts are sourced with the renewable or are equipped with the solar energy on the roof for the energy use, immediately a solar energy product carbon credit project can be initiated. And in Nepal, I would say I have come across a person or organization who is very good at providing micro loans for solar and also for the clean stove. If these two things are implemented, you can immediately get into carbon credit project with the association type of this. So there are plenty of opportunities. Just keep connecting to us and we will be able to help you. We'll be able to give you the way forward. And every credit will go to you. That is what, of course, for GSFN, it is always credit goes to the person who leads.
And also one more point, very specific to some of the sectors. Wherever there is export involved, let's say, for example, you are exporting to Europe or let's say the United States and other places. Nowadays, like country in Europe and all, the sustainability certification has become a mandatory thing because they want to see how you are basically following some of the sustainability steps and all. That is the other thing that we also come in. We can help you get that sustainability report and also the certification process. That way, it opens up new revenue channels for you on the goods that you produce and also the compliance that you need. Let's say you are doing any exports to any other Western markets.
Well, the green product, what award I mentioned is actually breaking down that CSRD regulation. And because, again, CSRD regulation is so complicated and tedious job, I thought it would be good for SMEs to pick up one activity, get the award, then the second activity, get the award, which can keep their enthusiasm and also, improving on their practices. Now, coming back to the, Vinod's proposal of air travelers coming by air. And that is very attractive because there are few schemes in world and especially in Cameroon. What they do, they collect clothes, used clothes, and whatever the clothes, they have put some specific air point to it. And they have partnered with one airlines. And then these air points turn into a monetary fund in a sense of if they did, I'm just giving an example, not an exact numbers. I don't know the exact numbers because I don't remember them, but it is something like that. You give one jacket donation of used jacket, which you don't require now. And if you give that, you will get, say, 150 points for that, and that will turn into 15 local currency. And this currency get accumulated, and at some point, say, for example, 1,000, this currency is in your wallet or in your account, you can use it for buying any other product or something like that. So that is the credit you get. So I think what you have mentioned, we should definitely liaise with airlines coming to Nepal, or it could be at a ticket vendor. Something has to be negotiated with the airlines, and that is a real good project. Anyone coming to Nepal will pay. Well, wherever I fly, I pay extra money for carbon credit, and they are the random projects where I just have from the registry of UK. But so especially what needs to be done, if there is any government official here, they should prepare a platform to invite local sustainable forest, and Nepal has plenty sustainable forest and sustainable whatever, where they want to invest the money that comes in. They should have an inventory of that products and just put it on the airline's website. So whenever they are getting carbon, like flying or buying a ticket, they have an option to, or it could be made compulsory for them to buy the carbon credit offsetting, and that they have an inventory to choose from the projects that are contributing to sustainable development, and that could be an easy way to move forward. So we can definitely liaise with the ministry for these arrangement. So that is what I can very immediately propose. We can definitely work with the ministry. Anyone who wants to lead on that can liaise with me, and we can have negotiation with AIROI and the lead, and we can definitely facilitate that in Nepal.
Thank you, Dr. Renika. Do you want to add anything?
No, I think it's covered.
Okay.
But basically, this is a very good project, and many of the 5-star hotels in Nepal are looking at moving towards what they call sustainable tourism. Now, the current hotel where we are, for example, the table mats are not, from a renewable source. Yes. So this actually is a very good opportunity. These kind of mats. So we are in talks with some of the leading hotel groups to make them net zero. We'll definitely talk about these products also.
अरू कुनै प्रश्न छ तपाईलाई अरू केही सोध्नु पर्ने? Suman.
Can I know the name of the institution which is microfinancing the solar projects in Nepal?
Dr. Reno, it's for you, Dr. Ringus. Mr. Suman is...
Yes, I will find out the name. I think he is, let me just give me some minute. You continue discussion. I will find out the name and tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there is one question.
What is your biochar बनाइसकेको पैसाभित्र 10% जति
Biochar.
अनि पार्टिसिपेटहरु चाहिँ भिलेजरहरु छ तामाङ इन्डिजिनियस ट्राइबलहरु छ उहाँहरुलाई अवेरनेस पनि गराउन खोजेछु अनि किन उहाँहरु अशिक्षित हुनुहुन्छ पहिले बुझ्नै गाह्रो छ त्यो विषयमा चाहिँ क्रेडिटको लागि चाहिँ के व्यवस्थापन छ
So because you can explain, he's making biochar and he's also mobilizing community. So how we can get credit for this biochar? So it's main work.
So it's good.
Yeah. How to get the carbon?
It's good that you're already doing biochar.
Yeah.
The process is very simple, and you are obviously collecting organic waste, which could be from agriculture.
What is organic agriculture waste?
Biomass.
जस्ट ठुलो ठुलो मात्र डस्ट मात्र छ कि मैले चाहिँ ग्रानुलर सिस्टममा त्यसमा चाहिँ तपाईँको 50% चाहिँ तपाईँको चाहिँ पेस्टिसाइड र विदाउट डिएपी चाहिँ फर्टिलाइजर नभएको जग्गाको माटो चाहिन्छ त्यसलाई अनि अर्को चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि म नेसनल पार्कमा सँगसँगै बसिरहेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि
fertilizers, organic.
अनि अर्को चाहिँ तपाईँको चाहिँ त्यहाँ गाईबस्तुहरू कस्तो पालिएको छ भनेदेखि यहाँ काठमाडौँको दानासाना खुवाइदैन त्यो चाहिँ तपाईँको नेसनल पार्कको घाँसहरू खाइन्छ
From Kathmandu.
अनि
Organic food.
जीवामृत पनि हुन्छ जीवामृतको मेसिन मैले सिकाउँदैछु त्यसलाई मिक्स गर्दाखेरि तपाईँको एकदम राम्रो फर्टिलाइजर त्यसमा निक्लिन्छ अनि हाम्रो वातावरण पनि कार्बन उत्सर्जनलाई पनि राम्रो छ त्यसको लागि अनि मलाई साथीहरूले पनि भन्नुभएको थियो अब यसलाई मेरो अपर्च्युनिटीमा ल्याएको छु उनीहरूलाई अब के इन्डिजिनियस र ट्राइबल्सहरू छ उहाँहरूलाई अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड त गाह्रो छ त्यो एरियामा मैले काम गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई कति अपर्च्युनिटीहरू आउँछ कार्बन क्रेडिट्समा
So he's asking about like he's also making like fertilizer. Also, he's making like a biochar as well. So what kind of opportunity he will get for carbon credit?
For biochar, you get for 1 ton of biochar.
Yeah. No, right now, no 1 ton. I'm going to process it.
So
After 2 months, we have to prepare a minimum 10 ton.
So I'm just explaining to you.
10 ton. No, 2 months. 2 months.
So 2 months, 1 ton is equal to 1 carbon credit. And 1 carbon credit is sold in the international market between 50 to 80 US dollars.
1 ton.
1 ton,
1 ton.
1 credit. Okay. Now, any biomass which is converted into biochar and the biochar is reused, either it goes into a furnace or preferably it goes back into an agriculture field. Because what are the benefits of biochar? It improves the pH of the soil. It improves
phosphorus, many kinds of nutrition.
the humidity, water absorption goes up, and the soil organic absorption goes up. So biochar, if it is made and you can prove that it is being reused, then you are eligible for credits.
Full carbon. So he's asking like how we measure the carbon like emission. How do we measure?
There are IoT sensors to measure the emission of carbon in a factory, in a building, in a vehicle. Anyway, there are sensors which will monitor the amount of carbon that is emitted. For example, if you take cattle. Now, cattle is again something which is common in Nepal. You may not have a single large, cattle farm, but if you can take it as a project across the country, what do cattle do? They emit methane, which is 40% more dangerous as compared to carbon dioxide. By changing the feed of the cattle, you can reduce that methane emission as much as 30%. And the reduction of 30% gives you carbon credits again. So how do you measure this? You have sensors which you put on the nose of the cattle, and that's how you measure. So anything that is there today, whether it's a building, it's a vehicle, it's a cattle, it's a farm, you have sensors which will help you monitor the output of carbon.
Just to add, you can also have more monitor carbon emissions from the soil.
She want to ask one question.
Last one, vermicompost गरेर यसको चाहिँ मल्च पनि निकालिरहेको छ तर अहिले लार्ज स्केल छैन र सानै स्केलमा छ हैन त्यो पनि हामीले अहिले सुरुवात गरेर अब अरु जस्तै कि मैले अहिले काम गरेको नवलपरासीमा हैन अब हामीले चाहिँ चितवनमा पनि यो प्रोसेसलाई लिनलाई
So even from the west, see they are doing vermicomposting as well.
Yes, that also earns carbon credit if it goes back into
this.
अब यहाँ सुन्नुहोस् है तपाईँ चाहिँ हैन अब तपाईले भर्मिकम्पोस्ट गर्दै हुन्छ नि त हैन त्यो पनि तपाईको त्यो भर्मिकम्पोस्ट तपाईको सोइलमा गयो भने तपाईले कार्बन क्रेडिट पाउँछ तपाईले के अब यता तपाईँ सामान पनि बेच्न पाइने भयो अझ ब्याक साइड तपाईले कार्बन पैसा पनि पाउने भयो हैन तर उहाँले के भन्नुहुन्छ भने एउटा गरेर भएन अब त्यो हामी गर्छौँ है धेरै समूह मिलेर एकैचोटि गर्यो भने अनि सजिलो हुन्छ अरे के
हामी पनि दक्षतासँग सम्बन्धित भएर उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ जुन लोकल पर्सनलाई हामीले काम गरिरहेको छौँ उहाँलाई हामी ट्रेन गरेर
So actually they are mobilized local people doing all these things.
So that is good. If you're getting local people involved, it increases the SDG goals, social development goals, which means the value of the credit also goes up.
हो अझ तपाईँ जुन स्थानीय समुदायले तपाईँ प्रयोग गर्नुभयो नि त त्यसले झन् तपाईँको त्यो पैसा पनि बढ्ने भ्यालु बढ्ने हो क्या एसडिजीले गर्दा के हजुर सरको
सर एउटा मैले उहाँहरू सन्देशमा कुरा गरेर जस्तो भयो दिने कसले नेपालमा को रिप्रेजेन्ट हु इज द
who is
रिप्रेजेन्ट
representing give the money
to give the carbon credit
Credit.
like APC also got it.
So these are all
Yeah.
these are all internationally approved by the United Nations FCCC
No, that is
registries.
who is the represent in Nepal.
We are AIR.
yeah they will pay त्यही भएर उहाँसँग कुरा हामीले के so what they do is no they will buy and they have account in
So
euros right
what happens is
can you explain the process
once the entire project gets approved by the registry and the credits are issued, AIROI will facilitate or monetization of those credits. Once the money comes into the AIROI account, it goes to the respective client within 7 to 10 working days.
yeah उहाँले पैसा पे गर्नु ल या
नेपालमा भनेको छैन होइन नेपालमा चाहिँ उहाँले गर्नुभएको ठिक छैन तर इच्छाले जस्तै उहाँले गरेछ भने
मैले नगरपालिकामा
इमिसन
Yes. Yes.
yes
She does not analyze the emission. No. She does not analyze the emission because she is using organic waste to make these products.
But we can convert into carbon equivalent.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Then I want to know.
Yeah.
Then you can calculate she has or factory or industry with disposal.
See, because she is taking in organic waste and converting it into a product,
Yeah.
she can claim on the process carbon credit.
can I explain more yeah go ahead
So, namaste to everybody. So when we talk about, yeah, I'm Manisha, and I'm also part of the AIROI carbon projects team. So I handle the carbon projects from AIROI. Now, one of the gentlemen asked about biochar. So biochar में ये है कि आपने बोला emission कैसे? So if we are taking 100 of biomass, I'm just giving you as an example कि अगर 100 units of residue of biomass हम लेते हैं, तो 20% gets converted to biochar. So that 20%, whatever amount of that 20% biochar that is converted is then translated into carbon credits. And that is what gives us the carbon credits. So that is for one. Secondly, ma'am is doing residue. तो जैसे आप बनाना के फाइबर से यूज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर उसको आप अप्लाई करते हैं, एक है प्रोडक्शन जहां आपने वर्मी कंपोस्ट से और ऑर्गेनिक को यूज करके आपने कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाया, दैट इज वन थिंग. लेकिन अब जहां पे आप उसको अप्लाई करते हैं सॉइल में, तब आपको कार्बन क्रेडिट्स मिलता है. तो इट हैज टू बी प्रोड्यूस्ड एंड अप्लाइड, and that is when you get carbon credits on that particular procedure.
एउटा सानो थपेर एउटा है अहिले सरले भन्यो नि राष्ट्रिय ब्याङ्कको कुले त्यहाँ कुरा ठ्याक्क आएर थियो कि त्यो प्रोसेस तले किनभने तपाईँले भनेको ठिक वास्तवमा आज के नेपाल गभर्मेन्ट अझ आएको छैन हैन, तर अब भोल्ट्री मार्केट आउने हैन, कसरी पैसा आउने भन्ने विषयमा चाहिँ नि सर उहाँले भन्नुहुन्थ्यो, मैले ब्याक सुनेको थिएँ मैले के
उहाँ बैंकको रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ हुनुहुन्छ
हो
अनि ग्रीन लोनको लागि नोबेल ब्याङ्क कम्पनी गए उहाँले पञ्जीले कुरा गर्नुभयो.
He is the right person to catch.
अनि अब नगरपालिका कुरा गर्छु कर्मचारीहरू कस्तो छ भने तपाईँको उनीहरूको चाहिँ नेपालमा किन वाटर प्रमोसन रहेछ के खर्दारको सुब्बाको अधिकारीको सेक ग्लास हो उनीहरू त समाजको इन्भाइरोमेन्टको केही मतलब नै छैन, मेयरलाई पनि मतलब छैन. म धाउँदा अनि मैले जानै छोड्थेँ अनि आफ्नो रिसर्चमै लाग्छु अनि म इन्डियातिरको मेन्टरतिर कुरा गर्छु, उहाँले एकदम राम्रो रेस्पोन्सहरू दिनुहुन्छ. अब बैंकमा जानु पर्यो, बैंकमा जाँदाखेरि पनि उहाँहरू पैसाकै मात्र कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ, इन्भाइरोमेन्टसित कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ. ए बाबु मलाई ग्रिन लोन 4% 3%मा देऊ न, म के गरेर देखाइदिन्छु. किनभने साउथ इन्डिया धेरै बसेर आएँ, मैले धेरै कुराहरू सिकेर आएको. अनि यो काममा चाहिँ मलाई आएको 1.5 वर्ष हो. मैले 38 लाख रुपियाँ 21% ब्याजमा मैले काम गरिरहेको छु है. अब सब्सिडी कसैले दिँदैन, खालि छोरी आउँदा देखेर मात्रै सेमिनार हुन्छ, भाषण हुन्छ, बैंकले के पनि गर्दैन हेर्नुहोस्. अब अलिअलि चाहिँ अवेरनेस मान्छेहरू आएको छ अनि तपाईँ चाहिँ यो विषयमा मलाई भन्नुहोस्.
Yes.
राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कमा फोन गर्छु राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कमा फोनै उठ्दैन है कति छ घरबाट आउन लाग्छ 2 घण्टा अनि हाम्रो विकासको कुरा गर्नु
Amit, भन्नु त point छैन question हैन Please, Amit ji on. Sure, yeah.
Very helpful for
Yeah.
now the regulation of the bank and government's law.
पहिला तपाईँकै क्वेरिजमा आउँदाखेरि अब जस्तै ब्याङ्कहरूको लोन नदिने भनेको अब सस्टेनेबल ब्याङ्किङ ग्रिन ब्याङ्किङ भनेर जुन धेरैवटा हामी ब्याङ्क्सहरूलाई लागि परिरहेको छौँ भने डेफिनेटली यो सेक्टरलाई त प्रमोसन नै गर्नको लागि नै हो होइन अनि दोस्रो चिज भनेको अब जस्तै ब्याङ्कको पनि कति चिज त हामी त हाम्रो संहिता त राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कको बारेर तोसिएको त होइन अब राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कले 2021 मा सब्सिडी लोनहरू एग्रिकल्चर सेक्टर्सहरूमा यो ग्रिन सेक्टर्सहरूमा दिएको थियो जुन ब्याङ्कले पनि गरेका थिए अब त्यसमा धेरै चिजहरू छ है म त्यो इन्सुरेन्स कुरामा फोरममा डिस्कस गर्दा त्यसले गर्दाखेरि पनि त्यो सब्सिडीका चिजहरू चाहिँ जस्तो तपाईँहरू जस्तो एकदमै यही सेक्टरमै काम गर्छु भनेर आएका मान्छेहरूलाई अब कतिजनाहरूले जानकारी बिना भित्र लोनहरूको पैसा तिरेको छ त्यस्ता चिजहरू पनि आएका उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ इम्प्याक्ट पर्यो होला त्यसले गर्दाखेरि तर त्यसले भन्दैमा अब सबै ब्याङ्क्सहरूमा त्यस्तो होला भन्ने होइन अब एउटा बेस्ट रेट हुन्छ प्रिमियम हुन्छ ब्याङ्कले पनि त्यो बेस्ट रेट खर्चहरूमा अलिक प्रिमियमहरूमा उसले हेरिदिन सक्छ क्या तपाईँलाई सहजीकरण गरिदिन सक्छ होइन अब बिना तपाईँले अब जुन देशमा आइरहेको प्रोजेक्ट डेभलप गरिरहेको भएको छ भने तपाईँले फेरि ब्याङ्कमा आउनुहोस् हामी केही गर्न सक्छौँ भने डेफिनेटली तपाईँलाई सहयोग त गर्न सकिहाल्छ सहयोगको लागि नै बसेको होइन तर यति हो कि अब यो पनि पैसा जनताकै पैसा हो नि त मैले तपाईँको पैसा दिएर उहाँलाई दिएको तपाईँ सेक्युर गर्दै नि त होइन अब कतिवटा क्रमहरू नट ओन्ली नबी पनि सेक्टर्सहरूमा एनपिए लेभलहरू बढिरहेको छ पैसा नतिरेका घटनाहरू धेरै छ होइन फेरि अहिले यो एकदमै लहरमै चलिरहेछ अभियान थालेको कतिवटा चिजमा उहाँहरूको दिमाग परेको छ एकदमै ठिक हो तर एक दुईजनाले गलत काम गर्दाखेरि कतिजना परेको छ तर त्यसले भन्दा सेक्टरै नराम्रो सबको क्वेरिजमा चाहिँ अब यस्तो पनि हो राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कमा एन्ड सच यो नयाँ एउटा 2017 प्रोटेक्सन एक्ट छ नि त्यसमा चाहिँ क्याबिनेटमा मेरो बुझाइअनुसार चाहिँ पुगिसकेको छ अब त्यो अगाडि अब अमेन्ड भएर आइसकेपछि त्यो बेसलाई टेकेर अनि त्यसपछि गर्ने उहाँहरूले चाहिँ सहजीकरण गरिदिने टेक्निकल एसिस्टेन्सहरू प्रोभाइड गरिदिने होइन एज अ मिडिएटर टेक्निकल एसिस्टेन्स हामीलाई ह्यान्डहोल्ड गरेर लिएर जानुहुन्छ अब त्यसमा चाहिँ अब एउटा हामीसँग पोलिसी अब बन्ने क्रममै छ हामी त्यसमा सकारात्मक
जुनमा आउँदैछ पोलिसी एक्ट आउँदैछ
भनेपछि हामी चाहिँ ट्याक्कै बेस पनि टेक्यो त यो गरेर चाहिँ सेक्टर जस्तै एज अ इन्डिभिजुअल उहाँ एउटा एसएमई हुनुहुन्छ अब 10 टन गरिरहेको भएको छ अघि भर्खरै फ्लोरमा आयो म एक्लैले मात्रै गर्न सक्छु कि उहाँ जस्तो धेरैजनाहरूले आयो भने त्यो धेरै आउँछ एआई आरओआई जसले सहजीकरण गरिदिन्छ मार्केटसम्म लिएर आइदिन्छ अब त्यस बायोमासबाट चारकोलमा जाँदा त 50 भन्दा माथि डलरमा आउने त्यसले गर्दा त्यो कम्युनिटीमा त्यो एउटा प्रमोसन पनि भयो अरूले पनि हामीले यो सेक्टरमा हात हाल्नुपर्छ भनेर तपाईँलाई देखेरै अरू पनि आउँछ
अब अल्छी खास यो मोर लाइक भोलिन्टियर मार्केट हो मोर भोलिन्टियर मार्केट बुझ्नुपर्छ है यो
सो ये ज्यादातर मैं हिंदी में बात करती हूँ आप सबको सो ये वॉलंटरी कार्बन मार्केट के अंदर आता है और वॉलंटरी कार्बन मार्केट में ये होता है कि आप रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कोई है कि नहीं है कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर सरिता इज गेटिंग समथिंग एंड जो एक्टिविटी कर रही है उसमें उनको कार्बन क्रेडिट्स मिलता है और वो कार्बन क्रेडिट जब AIROI के पास आता है हम लोग सारा कैलकुलेट करके देख लेते हैं रजिस्ट्री को भेजते हैं और वो अमाउंट फिर हमारे को ट्रांसफर करते हैं तो वो डायरेक्टली इनके अकाउंट में जाता है तो उसके लिए वी डू नॉट रिक्वायर टू हैव एनी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव इट गोज डायरेक्टली टू द पर्सन हु इज डूइंग दैट एक्टिविटी जो कि एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली एक्टिविटी है तो रिप्रेजेंट नहीं भी होगा तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है yeah with that calculation we will be doing we will be doing AIROI will be doing the calculation for you and telling you that as per the report this is the amount of
we are making a policy on behalf of Nepal how much money we receive that also
that is when it comes to compliant markets. When we are talking about voluntary carbon markets, see, because all across the world, wherever we are getting benefit from carbon markets, we are getting carbon credits from voluntary carbon market as of now.
For 80 airlines.
It's a voluntary carbon, huh?
So UT Airlines is being by themselves, not with the support government.
Yes.
But we want government to support because the money is coming to Nepal. That's how we are doing the advocacy for the government. Government should bring the policy soon. In India, Modi has already brought. Now they are doing complete compliance market within India.
Correct.
They don't need to sell outside.
Yeah.
They can sell within the country. So very easy. So that's a way to do it.
So wherever we are doing, whether it's compliance market or voluntary, as of now, there is no compliance market happening anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere, all the people or all the organizations who are into carbon credit are getting on voluntary carbon market because they're doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And that is why the money comes directly to their account. And before all that, they get an assessment report that this is the kind of carbon credits you will be getting. And based on that, we are generating the report for them and then sending it to the registry. So it's a completely transparent platform and transparent ways of working where AIROI is going to be helping us. And they will show you will have your email ID and password and login, and you can check कि आपने इतना अभी इस महीने में कितना carbon credits आपका generate हुआ. So that is what we will be giving you that opportunity.
Indian scooters, TVS bike, electric bike. Apps again. If you see there, you can see very clearly how much carbon you have reduced. And I think future we can claim that one as well.
Yes, that is a future.
In the mobile आउँछ के तपाईँ मोबाइलमा कति मैले स्कुटर कति चलाए मैले इलेक्ट्रिकमा फेरि है अनि देखाउँछु नि त्यहाँ यति कार्बन तैँले जोगाए है रिड्युस गरे भन्ने बित्तिकै त्यो क्यान क्लेम इन द फ्युचर डाटा छ नि हामीसँग यहाँ त त्यो भइरहेछ अहिले कि त्यही भएर कस्तो यो त कस्तो एकदम ठुलो मार्केट भएको छ क्या यो नेपालमा सबैले धेरै फाइदा हुन्छ क्या यो हाइड्रो पावर.
Yes, the hydropower is also not going through the government. They're voluntarily coming into the market. For example, we have 2-3 hydropower projects, which is Sahas Urja and the other is in Dordikula. Yeah. So HPP, Himalayan Power Plant. So these two power plants are working under voluntary carbon markets. Yes, sir.
Well, in my house, we do not use any other source of energy than electricity.
Okay.
How can I claim?
So in your case, what's happening is that, let me compare it. Now, while you're not using any electricity and it's coming through, then how are you using the energy? In what form?
It's coming from the utility provider.
Utility provider. Okay. Now that utility provider is hydro, of course. But because now there is a clause here, if you are using energy, which is coming from the NEA, Nepal Electricity Grid, now, when it comes from there, for domestic purposes, we cannot claim carbon credits. Why? Because already you are using a renewable energy. So all those hydropower energy that goes to export to other countries, those countries who are using thermal power energy in their grid, then you can claim carbon credits because you are replacing fossil fuel from hydro. So for our individual houses in Nepal, we cannot claim carbon credits.
You just mentioned there is an app in the scooter.
That's a futuristic thing.
Future. Yeah, but in Europe, but in Europe, it's already started. In Europe, like if you make a house with wood, not with iron or not with aluminum, you get the credit. If you do the organic farming in Netherlands, so that system is already there because the government is very advanced.
So they are already developed nations. Yeah,
they are getting individually also.
I mean, if I compare my EV with the scooter, we're at par, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of energy consumption.
Yes.
Right.
So if it's
how can they keep it for the future claim?
Yes.
And then I cannot keep it for the future claim.
So basically, in any vehicle, whether it is if you are moving from your fossil-based fuel, petrol, diesel, to an EV charge, so you can claim carbon credits based on the kilometers traveled.
Yeah.
But carbon credit is a volume game. The more kilometers traveled, the more credits you will get, and then the more revenue you can earn. You can accumulate.
It has to bring financial viability. That's the whole point.
So, for example, with Chaudhary Group, Chaudhary Motors, what we are doing is, apart from the EV charging stations calculating the carbon credit generated on the amount of energy disbursed, the vehicles kilometers is also calculated. They have some 3,500 commercial vehicles, 16-seater buses, 12-seater buses, and so on. That is converted into carbon credit.
Yeah.
Because the volume is there, 3,500 now. Expected to go up to 20,000 by 2027, 28. So then the volume comes in.
So to answer
Consumer will.
No, so
No,
yeah, no,
consumer
so
can claim, sir.
to-
Consumer can claim.
yeah, to
but
answer your
the
question,
volume
sir,
is required.
yeah, to answer your question, how will the individual consumer get a benefit out of carbon credit? Now, in such cases, what happens is, for example, Chowdhury Group has collaborated with AIROI for EV charging stations. Now, when they are, because for them, one charging station will definitely have so many vehicles coming through, and they can then cumulatively seek carbon credits. Now, out of that carbon credits, instead of giving you carbon credit, they will give you benefit. For example, in so much of kilometers or so much of charging, we will give you this much discount or this much of charging free. So in that form, they will give you your return. But if a single user is going to the carbon, yeah.
So what's the incentive for me to buy EV if I'm not getting that carbon?
So I'll tell you, there are two
other-
incentives. One incentive is that you are definitely using renewable energy. That is one. So if you compare the fossil fuel rates and the energy output from EV, definitely it's a very beneficial point. The second how is that if you are using EV, the provider, the charging station will give you some discount on that.
I charge it at home.
Okay. All right. So then you're getting your, and so in any case, if you're charging it at home, then the energy that you're using is definitely far less as compared to if you would use the diesel or a petrol. So operation cost is very low for you then in any case. So that's the benefit that you get. And I'm sure like when you go for an EV vehicle, you're definitely comparing it from a fossil fuel.
I think so. He's telling me, in my case, Supati is enjoying the carbon credit.
So let's do like that. So we have one question. So we'll have
Yeah.
Amirji, then you okay, pause it.
Okay. Maybe this question may be very beyond that money support. Just I want to get some idea. I represent charity organization and focus in community development.
Okay.
So we work with community-based forest users group, and there are lots of plantations.
Okay.
And when I had a literature review, it said that in the first 20 years of the period, a single tree can generate average of 22 pounds or around 10 kilograms of oxygen. That means, in a way, it's contributing towards neutralizing the carbon, right?
Right.
It's contributing. So that's data NASA scientists were putting. On the other hand, I have conducted research and the into cooking stuff. It's 40% around, they say 25 to 40% efficient and the traditional stove.
As compared to traditional stoves. Yes.
So in that case, in my research, like I found that in a particular community, among 507 households, they were able to mitigate 1,200 tons of carbon emission.
Right.
You know? Right. So that's a large amount, right? So I just while hearing Mr. B, I forgot.
Mr. Badri, yeah.
Is there any ways how we can, because these communities are rural, connected to you and like if they get some types of that type of
Absolutely. So yes, I've understood. Yeah. So you are saying, so just to reiterate what I've understood correctly, that you're already using improved cook stoves, right? And since when have you used those cook stoves? Since when are you using?
Let's say from now to 2020.
2020. Okay. So in that case, what happens is now, is it a cooperative or is it a Gram Panchayat or who's the, because see, a community based.
Users group.
Users group. Okay. So let's say if the users group is one group which comes under your charitable institution or NGO. Okay. So we will register that as a project. Now to see the maths, one cook stove in a year would generate around 1.5 credits in a year. One. Okay. That's as per the latest upgraded methodology that Vera is one of the good standards. So as per that, it generates around yearly, one cook stove will generate 1.5 carbon credits per annum. So now you can see if there are around so many households, thousands. So let's say, and if they're running for past 4 years, so we can do the math, how much it's going to be. Now, how to do it? We can always, bring them and make it under one cooperative or a panchayat or under your institution and register as a project. So you will get carbon credits from 2020. So usually they take 2 years, 2 years prior. So let's say 25 today. So by 23, from 23 to 24, you will get whatever has been generated, it will be done. But we will do a boiling test. We will do some tests, seeing the efficiency, because every 7 years, we are supposed to check the efficiency of the stove. So since it's just done in 2020, so I don't think there should be a problem. So all those things we will have to do. We will make a feasibility report and share it with you. And we can go ahead as a project.
And just one curiosity.
Yeah, please.
1.5 carbon credits equivalent to how much?
So this goes for around, the range is $3 to $5. $3 to $5, yeah. So let us be conservative, $3 per carbon credit for cook stove per annum.
So Mr. Ravindra has a question and
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the organization like Clean Up Nepal, which is a non-profit making and non-government organization. So we do focus on awareness raising. So because I would like to share one data, like in Kathmandu Valley, there are around 1,200 metric ton waste generated per day. Out of that, 9% waste is being burned. Open burning.
Burning, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the organization like Clean Up Nepal, we do more focus on awareness raising to make people aware about do not do the open burning. So how it will be contributed for this
carbon credit?
Because one point is like that. Another one is we also focus for the how we can reduce the single-use plastic to ask people throughout awareness raising. We do conduct massive campaign regarding collection of waste.
Yes.
So we do segregate all those waste and trying to create the value from that low-grade value plastic or multi-layer of plastic. So such types of initiation right now we're doing in Nepal. There are some machines or like waste collection initiative we are supporting to the local government. So they honor all those kinds of things. So how such types of even the initiation like Clean Up Nepal being right now. So how we are being a part of that credit card.
So, sir, what happens is, one is that I'd like to know what is the tonnage of collection that you do of the waste? How much is your monthly tonnage or daily collection of the waste?
Well, we are not collecting like as a waste collection companies, but we do the campaign. In that meantime, we collect waste, but not as a regular.
Oh, okay. Okay, so awareness is one thing that's good, but if we have to be connected to carbon credits, then we will have to show the tonnage of collection that we are doing. So that is one thing. Now, in order to suppose if you are thinking, and even if you are a NGO, non-profit organization, many NGOs are also taking the benefit of carbon credits, and especially when you mentioned about the plastic credits. So just for your information, one plastic credit goes for nowhere less than $165 to $800 per credit. Now let us be conservative. Let's say $120 per carbon plastic credit. Now that's a very good question. That single-use plastic, of course, all the PET bottles, PET and all those things, they have very high value when we talk about registries and plastic waste. So wherever we can show that we are collecting, we can show a tonnage, and then we can claim the benefits of plastic credits. But campaigning is a good idea, is good to educate. We can start off like that, but that may not fetch carbon credits. What will fetch is the collection and recycling of the plastic waste. That will fetch the carbon.
And what, because Clean Up Nepal is being associated with too many aggregators or waste collection companies here, or the scrap dealers. We do support them, but they are the segregated in homes. Like in Kathmandu, there are more than 300.
So you can be the organization who is doing the campaign and helping them collect. They are collecting on your behalf, right?
Can we use that data? So what is the collection of waste?
You can use their data, sir. You can use their data, but you will have to see that it is collected by you. So, what in this case, what you could do is that you could give them some amount to collect and let them collect it for you and get it recycled. Yeah.
Right now, we mobilizing informal waste worker. So we do provide training. We do provide occupational health and safety for them. And we do also promote them to how they can collect the multi-layer of plastic and create the value from that one.
Uh-huh.
So they are collecting and they provide the data to us. So this is the number of waste they're collecting, and they provided and they sell all those data
So,
to the collection companies.
as per the carbon credit plastic credit market, the person who's getting it collected or is collecting gets the carbon credit. So because they are collecting, they can be eligible for plastic credits, but because you are initiating it by campaigning and educating, creating an awareness, why don't you only initiate and get it done through you? That's the best way to do it. So then you can avail the benefit of plastic credits.
Get one question at the back.
Yes.
Comment.
Okay, my question was well connected with the pension that we discussed a bit earlier with the EV user. So I think it's under the voluntary market form. So every EV users who are getting the encouragement for getting the benefits, every fleet is there. So if a certain kind of measurement of the fleet, so this, for instance, if I'm driving 10 kilometers in a day, then that 10 kilometers I'm consuming the electric vehicles and then saving the fossil fuels. Okay, so anyway, I'm earning some amount of the carbon credit. So I think that falls into the voluntary credit.
Yeah.
The point moment I'm driving my car, instead of using the fossil or ice vehicle, so the amount I'm gaining will be automatically released in the form of the carbon credit. So that comes under the voluntary market, right?
Right, right. So, sir, to answer your question, yes, an individual who's riding, as sir also asked me, that they are definitely, generating carbon credits. But we are the generation of carbon credit by an individual driver who has his own vehicle and is riding. It is still not economically feasible because the amount of carbon credit that's generated is very small. And to be able to, now just hear me out, to be able to make it a project and register in the, European and foreign registries to be able to claim the carbon credit, that involves a lot of cost. So if an individual, while, as Mr. Badri and Vinod also said that it's a game of volume. So while you are generating carbon credits, all right, but we still cannot give it at the individual level because it's not economically feasible. So that is why we, go to those companies who are providing the service stations, so charging stations. Then they can give the benefit, pass on the benefit of the carbon credits to the individuals. Yes, sir. So please.
This is not a question rather than an observation.
Yes.
But if you do not trickle down the benefit to the end user, I may be a different kind of a person. So I switched over to the electricity from my previous source of energy.
Yes.
But there are common people in the in the household. I mean, why would they buy induction cooker paying more money rather than using their existing gas stoves? Why would they convert their fossil fuel scooter into a electric scooter? Why would they do that?
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I agree completely.
What is happening? I'm not an expert in this, but I can see that the carbon credit benefit is just trickling down up to the level of the commercial vehicle sellers, which is not a social justice problem.
Yes, absolutely. See, the thing is, sir, every economy in every country develops and evolves over a period of time. Like sir mentioned, the developed nations today can afford to give carbon credits to individuals because they are at a certain economic level. But developing nations there is still time for us to come there. Even in India, I'm talking from my experience, even in India, we are not able to give benefit to the individual because the cost of this carbon, credit to register and get into the project and get a carbon credit is a very costly affair. But yeah.
To add to what she says and what you have been saying, it has got my mind working. Give me some time, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, but
then my own this thing is you can always develop a mechanism to trickle down.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, the only issue in your kind of case is how do we track the kilometers that you have traveled as an individual? That is the issue. If we can solve that.
These days, use the internet.
So that data should be voluntarily provided by the vehicle owner. Not everybody is willing to do it. In the Middle East, for example, you cannot use an IoT device. tracking a vehicle is illegal there unless it's a police order.
Yes, but it's something that we can definitely.
Absence of a mechanism is not trickle it down to the end user, That's my point. If you really want to work on environment, it has to come to the end user.
We agree that. So we definitely agree. And
Before telling the end user don't burn wood from the forest, give them an alternate.
Yes, absolutely. I really agree to what you are saying. That is true.
So we have hands up from Dr. Renuka as well. Renuka,
Yeah.
I have seen your hands. Sorry, like it was at our back. That's what we could see. Go ahead, Dr. Renuka. You have question, comment? Where is sound?
The sound is.
Dr. Renuka, you are muted.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, very interesting discussion, and I definitely want to add a few things here. What I have been preaching is for the government to develop an open source platform, and that would be a public added value for everyone. If we are able to, individuals and the small organizations, if we are able to contribute to carbon emissions, whatever the activities we do, and from that, whatever the carbon emissions are emitted, if we are able to contribute directly to an open source platform, it will accumulate immediately with so many carbon emissions, and how then we reduce them. That can be again directly contributing to NDCs. Okay, and they can very useful tool for them to report to IPCC, because IPCC and UNFCCC have developed a transparency platform where each country has to give their bureau or their records of carbon emission. Every year they have to put a big picture there that what they are been doing. So it is important that now when we are talking about this travel, it is definitely very actually very easy to develop, whereas we haven't developed yet. But we also have apps that can do that job. And one of the pioneer in Singapore has developed this app, and you download the app and you calculate carbon emissions for your travel, food, and other activities. And then when you change, it asks you the mode of travel. So, and actually in 2011, many years ago, 2011, I made a carbon calculator for BSI, and that has been used to make the company carbon neutral with the auditors, because there are plenty of associated consultant in any certification body or any such standard body to go out. They work remotely, they go out and do their job, and they never come to sit in a office. So they have to use transport mode a lot. So what happens that you initially make a Excel sheet and calculate the mode of transport, and now Google Maps can definitely tell you from where you have gone to where you have reached. So GIS can help you to measure the distance, and also it also gives you carbon calculations with it. So if you can jot down that, and then if you have changed the mode, so first time you have traveled through car, but the second time you have walked that distance, then immediately you have cut down on your carbon emission, and that can help people to understand how to commute and how to travel. Now, if such commitments have been done by people in the country, then the cut down emission through travel can be registered immediately. Even the change in mode of transport. So if one vehicle is using fuel and the other vehicle is using electric charging, then again the carbon emissions can change immediately, and that can be registered. So it is possible if we can even start with the spreadsheet, that can go a long way to get on an online tool or with the phone app and so on. And that can also be facilitated into the what you already mentioned, that how to register the carbon emission or carbon credit project for transport. Also, there is an interesting thing for me that in every city, even in Kathmandu or wherever, in every city, you will find 25-meter stretch, which is highly populated, highly densely, trafficked by the vehicles. And we should work on that area to have various modes of transport there. So we should have a specific road, in a sense of specific, place that is on the road is been allotted for cycling, for walking, for electric vehicles, and then the main vehicles and the buses, public transport. And if that segregation is made on that road, I believe that we will immediately overcome the problem of traffic and traffic jam and so on. So these are few things we should be working and presenting to the government. They are very, very easy to duplicate because they have been done in various parts of the world. And that is the liaising we should be, promoting. Now, just with the carbon credit, don't get into the tension of carbon credit because it is just because it is, you think that it will going to return of investment is just very little. For example, what Manisha mentioned, that with I think Clean Stove, she mentioned that one credit will be only $3, and so people might think that, okay, one clean stone I have, and I have only one credit to contribute, and I will get only $3 in a year, so I don't want to do it. But actually, this carbon credit increases your transparency. It brings the benefit of that excellence practices, which are beneficial for your health, beneficial for future, beneficial for employment. It saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of, the waste, cutting of woods and so on. And that is where the most benefits lie. So you should understand that carbon credit is just an instrument for better practices. It is not just the only tool for sustainability, but it is definitely an practical tool to move towards sustainability. I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Renuka. So,
And also, one gentleman asked, right? What's the incentive for buying a EV vehicle, and what does it even make sense, right? So I'll just share. I'll take a minute. So if you just look at the place where I live, right? See, this is a kind of incentive. If I buy a EV vehicle, if you can just see, this is in California, right? I may potentially get up to $16,500. How it comes? These are the, for the new vehicle, if I buy $7,500 subject to income qualified, then if it is a used vehicle, it's $4,000. And then for the charging I use, it's a pre-owned EV rebate. Several, credits are available. And also you do get access to some of the tolls as well. Like you have a high occupancy vehicle, which means that on some of the freeways, you have a dedicated lane where if the car has got more than one passenger, which means the car itself could be running on a gas, which means a petrol or a diesel. But if more than one person is going in the car, which means you're avoiding one more car, right? Yeah, instead of two people driving two cars, two people are in one car. It's called HOE. That also is free. the highway access. There are several tax incentives. Government can definitely work on it. That's the individual benefit. So you don't pay toll in some places. There are many such schemes are available.
Yes, you are very, very right. I have a hybrid car and I don't pay any congestion charges in London.
Yeah, so in a country which is already developed, you can get.
I can share one experience of mine, like.
Yes.
In terms of uses, increasing the uses of clean energy and contributing to carbon credit, carbon emission. The net metering of the electrical bill has been a very, very interesting instrument in converting people to put the solar panels on the rooftop of their houses. So that instead of they pay to the utility company, they receive a check from them.
They will receive a check, yes.
So that was a very good intervention, actually.
Yeah. So maybe in the coming future, we will also have something like this, sir. But then they are all talking about developed nations. We are currently in developing nations. So it's just about time, but yes.
Only in the mindset.
But
in a developed nation and a
developing nation. Yes, absolutely.
When Singapore started, it was
a fishing village. Yes. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, that when we can see that kind of benefit, environmental benefit, then we should wait and watch and ensure that we are doing what we can do from our side in order to contribute to the environment. And when the benefit can be trickled down to the individual, definitely we all will be happy about it. So yes.
Okay, just one more point on developing and developed countries. Developing countries such as Nepal or any other, like India, they are going to do several development projects. Okay,
Absolutely.
They are not going to stay there, right? And therefore, they need to be particularly interested in carbon credits so that they can provide low carbon or at least zero carbon projects as a development projects. And immediately, if that is done, the carbon credit will go immediately rise. The importance of carbon credit will rise. And again, this we are looking only up to 25 years, that is like 2050. We want to become totally net zero around the world, right? And therefore, you have more opportunity than the developed countries to go forward. If you provide clean projects, you will attract carbon credits from elsewhere, which is developing countries who are looking for offsetting their carbon credits, carbon. So it is important that we establish this market and move forward, even though we think that, we are having very less. I think with all these developing countries, Bhutan has done very well. Bhutan is carbon neutral country, and they have been able to sell their carbon credits in a very high price and getting a very good income and so on. So Bhutan has done a very good job in that. So I will stop here. Thank you.
So, let's share one example of between the developed and the developing country mindset. I have been a banker. I was involved in bringing in credit card business to Nepal through the big bank. Actually. So my experience of the POS machine, the card reader, they converted the card reader from the magnetic base to a chip base. It was so easy to convert the chip-based card readers in the country like Nepal, unlike in the United States, because United States had to invest billions of dollars to convert.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I think we are a virgin land.
Yes.
Instead of in the back of our head, we say we are a developing nation or underdeveloped nation. We are a virgin land. We can do much ahead of what the developed countries can do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All in the mind. So let's do like that. We need to consider time as well. So we put 4 p.m. So a little bit late. So you want any questions?
Only highlights.
Only highlight. Okay, one highlight. Let's highlight.
Last slide. data is said, it's game of volumes. Developed country like USA, they use around 13,000 of kilowatt of energy per person, whereas our stands at 447 only.
Yes.
So that matters a lot in terms of like getting returns. And on the other hand, like since you were from South India, I was reading in the news that there was first Indian child who born as carbon neutral child.
Yes,
yes.
that's true.
Yeah. Rest you can Google it.
So when I talk about developing and develop, what I mean is because on one side, if you are saying the individual, it's not getting trickled to the individual. In that context, in order to do that, give that benefit to the individual, it's important for us all to take a step and think that, okay, let's work towards the environment first, and then of course that will definitely fall in place in a later stage. So yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, definitely. So that is why. Yes, correct, very true. Yes, absolutely.
So this too, like that, I think this has been a very good discussion, interaction. So definitely, like we'll continue this kind of discussion in future as well. And the good news is we have AIROI here, so they are going to establish they are going to have their office in Nepal, Kathmandu. So we definitely need support from here because they have been doing this area a lot. And back we have Global Sustainable Future Network, and Dr. Renuka, she's there, so she's always supportive in Nepal. So I think in future we can do a lot, and carbon trading is definitely have a future. So we might think differently as well. So with that, all discussions, and definitely we can do a lot in future. So I think we are now closing session. So
before you all go,
thank you so much, everyone. And if you want to just scan this QR code to join GSFN, you can do that. And
so all are welcome to GSFN. So we'll have several online events. So
and also I have sent this QR code to Sarita and others, so you can scan that and immediately get on it. And this is another one for Green Award, and you can definitely write your country, so we will know that who has want to participate, and we can share it with Ujjwal.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. So,
thank you very much.
Let's have a closing remarks.
Closing remarks. No, after that we'll have a closing.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
So for closing remarks, I'd like to welcome Mr. Basu Gautam, founder director of Eco Climate Innovations. So please join me. Welcome.
Thank you. म पहिला नेपालीमा गरेर थोरै इङ्ग्लिसमा राख्छु है एकदमै अन्त मलाई पनि केही क्वेसनहरु थियो तर अब आयोजक भएको हुनाले फेरि क्वेसनहरु त धेरै थियो इनफ्याक्ट यतिको 3 घण्टाको हाम्रो सेसनमा एउटा शब्द चाहिँ नआउँदाखेरि आइ एम सरप्राइज्ड एन्ड बिट स्याड त्यो चाहिँ जलवायु न्याय अर्थात् क्लाइमेट जस्टिस भन्ने शब्द चाहिँ कसैले पनि आज मेन्सन गरेन एउटा कुरा के भन्दा म आफै पनि क्लाइमेट अभियन्ता भएको कारणले मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि हामीले क्लाइमेटको कुरा गर्दाखेरि हामीले कतै ह्याभ्स र ह्याभ नट्स बीचको जुन एउटा वाइडनिङ ग्यापलाई नेरो गर्दै लिएर जाने हो कि अझै वाइड गर्दै लिएर जाने हो भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ हामी सचेत हुनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ हामीले कार्बन क्रेडिटको कुरा गर्यौं संसारमा सबैभन्दा बढी कार्बन क्रेडिट चाहिँ अहिले टेस्लाले कार्बन क्रेडिटबाट चाहिँ टेस्लाले पैसा कमाइरहेछ तर हामी कुरा गर्छौं किसानको फेरि हैन त्यसकारणले मलाई चाहिँ यो शब्द नआएकोमा चाहिँ अलि दुःख लाग्यो है एनीवेज यहाँहरुलाई एनीवेज यहाँ सबैलाई एकदमै थ्यांक यू उज्जवल हजुर Okay, thank you very much. I was just mentioning that in this entire conversation and interaction today, one word was missing, that was climate justice. Yes, given the fact that we are from the southern hemisphere of the world or the globe, whatever you want to call it, I think that should be something that we should reiterate and remind, especially the policymakers. And you know, we've been talking a lot. We spoke a lot about climate carbon credits, plastic credits. But one of the things that is missing, I'll give you a little bit of intro of myself. Beside being a very startup on this Eco Climate Innovation Private Limited, I myself have been for the last 6 years tree planter. And my goal is to plant 1 million trees in Nepal by 2030, of which more than around 150,000 trees have been planted. I was, when you were talking about all the, the carbon credits, I was thinking one of the best success story of ours has been त्यो बागलुङमा चाहिँ नि एउटा ठाउँ छ कि त्यो कालिका मन्दिरमा हामीले 501 वटा रुद्राक्ष लगायौँ हैन त्यो 501 वटामा अलमोस्ट 80% अहिले हुर्केको छ अब मलाई किसानहरूले गाउँ गाउँमा के भन्छन् भन्दाखेरि सर आजकल त डलर पनि फल्छ अरे नि त रुख लगायो भने भन्छन् हैन अब हाउ क्यान आई एड्रेस देम गिभन द फ्याक्ट वी डु नट ह्याभ द पोलिसी इन प्लेस यस्तो कुरामा आई थिंक one of the thing, the other thing that was missing today was anyone from the government बाट अथवा चाहिँ पोलिसी मेकरहरूलाई चाहिँ we have to invite them and we have to knock on their door saying गाउँमा किसानले कार्बन क्रेडिटको कुरा गर्न थाल्यो अहिलेसम्म हामीले पोलिसी पनि बनाएको छैनौं भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ this is very very serious है हैन यो कुरा चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ र एनीवेज आई एम नट हियर टु अब धेरै यो प्रिच नगरौँ बट वी अल नो हैन म चाहिँ अझै यो क्लाइमेटको कुरामा चाहिँ स्पेशली यस्तो इन्टरेक्सनहरु भन्दा म त गाउँ गाउँतिर गएर काम गर्ने भएको हुनाले आई फिल द पेन अफ दिस पिपल के हु आर त्यो ग्रास रुटमा चाहिँ हैन व्हाट दे आर थिंकिङ व्हाट दे वान्ट अब यो क्लाइमेटको कुरामा यति धेरै पैसा छ भन्छन् हैन बट वेयर इज इट अघि दाइले भन्नुभयो एन्ड युजरलाई के त हैन व्हाट इज द एन्ड युजर गेटिङ के हैन त्यो कुरा चाहिँ हामीले एकदमै गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ थ्यांक यू फर दिस इन्टरेक्टिभ सेसन एउटा सानो जानकारी म चाहिँ नि यो हामीले स्टार्टअपले चाहिँ नि अन मार्च 5th इज इन्टरनेशनल डे अफ क्लीन एनर्जी ग्रीन एनर्जी डे भएको हुनाले हामीले एउटा सानो इन्टरेक्सन र सँगसँगै यो आर्टिस्टहरुको उसबाट चाहिँ नि हामीले ग्रीन एनर्जीको अलिकति अवेयरनेस र एजुकेसनको हामीले काम गर्दैछौँ ठमेलको पूजन कोर्टयार्ड होटल विल सेन्ड यू मैले त्यो यहाँको सबैको पनि एड्रेस पनि लिएको छु प्लिज कम you're all invited but once again thank you to Renuka Dr. Renuka for your wonderful insights for your there were so many things that we were able to learn and what I was thinking if all these things that were even a bit complex for me if that could be simplified why don't we trickle this down to our school children we already have environmental courses in our school तर in those courses do we have about plastic credits को कुरा हामी सानो हुँदाखेरि तपाईलाई याद छ नि हामीले त्यो रारा चेउचोको 12 वटा चाहिँ प्लास्टिक जम्मा गर्यो नि एउटा रारा चेउचो पाउँथ्यो अब अहिले बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यो खालको के 12 वटा चाहिँ नि बोतलहरु अथवा 20 वटा बोतल जम्मा गरेर स्कुल लिएर गयो भने स्कुलले 25 रुपैयाँ दियो भने पनि त पीपल विल बी एन्करेज द किड्स विल बी एन्करेज सफा पनि गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा इन्सेन्टिभ इज एभ्रीथिङ वी आर ह्युमन बीइङ्स वी आर ग्रीडी बाइ नेचर हामीलाई चाहिँ इन्सेन्टिभ चाहियो क्या एन्ड द्याट्स व्हाई पीपल आर can I get out of all this? You know what I mean?
So these kind of initiatives are happening across the world, especially like I can give example of India and Southeast Asia and other countries like Indonesia and Thailand, where they benefit, especially like the farmer community. So they come as a cooperative and they get the money individual farmers is getting a benefit. So that is definitely happening wherever it is possible from our end. So yeah, that's a good thought. I hope.
Thank you, Manisa. Thank you, Manisa.
You can buy your drink ticket by using the empty
water bottle. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw the same thing in France last month.
Right.
So I'm really thankful once again. Ani त्यसपछि what I was saying is that I think in the next interactions like this, we should also consider using the term like climate justice and how can this whole entire thing complement in narrowing the gap between those farmers working in the ground as well as the policy makers and companies like Tesla. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let us have one group picture. Yeah, so Dr. Renuka will have group pictures. So you are also there at the top. At the top. Yeah. This is about AIROI. I got the one want to support the party. Because you're from your mobile, you take picture.
Stand on the side. Then come, please come. Time between.
One, two, three, one, right? खाली हुँदैन। यो क्यामेरा कराउँदैन जस्तो।
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the GSFN, Dr. Renuka. So
Yes,
we are having now tea and coffee now.
sure.
So sorry for that. When you come Nepal, we'll have tea and together with you. So thank you very much for your support. So we'll
I
let you
will
know.
have my tea now here. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So
Bye-bye.
we-
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you
Keep in touch and
all.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.